Welcome everyone to an exciting journey into the world of brain health and cognitive performance optimization. I'm Toby Passman, and today we're going to explore the incredible capabilities of the NeuroFlex at-home brain mapping and neurofeedback system. Let's get started. This remarkable system is designed to empower you to take control of your cognitive performance, all from the comfort of your own home or office. Before we delve into the setup and connection process, let me introduce you to the key components of our system. First, we have the brain mapping headset. It's comfortable to wear and contains advanced sensors that monitor your brain activity, providing you with valuable insights. To accompany the hardware, you'll need our intuitive mobile app. It's available for both Android and iOS devices, making it accessible to everyone. One of the standout features of our program is our personalized one-on-one progress review calls. We'll go over all the data together and tailor your training sessions to your unique needs. Now let's get this incredible system up and running in just a few simple steps. All right, so I'm going to take the device out here. So this is the headset. We're going to power this guy on. And you want to look for the white light here. That means the device is on. Now I'm going to put it behind my ears and I can adjust it so that these back parts are curled behind my ears. And then I'm going to be connecting an extra electrode that's going to be able to record and train specific areas of my brain in addition to the headset. So the electrode, you're going to connect it to where the charging port is on the right side. All right, so I'm going to put this back on. Now I'm going to go on my phone here. So if we go into the app, so we're going to first start with an assessment. So when you begin training with us, your initial session is going to be both consisting of the brain scan, as well as doing some cognitive performance testing and filling out some assessments so we can get a baseline measurement of your neurological processes and how your brain is doing. So beginning this assessment here, it's saying it's going to ask some questions, it's going to sense my brain activity from different regions. It's also going to have me open and close my eyes at different points along the process. And then after that, I'm going to be performing a sustained focus test. So that's the cognitive performance testing. So I'm going to click Start, and then Symptoms Questionnaire. I'm going to click Continue. So with this, I'm going to just go through and fill this out. It's a simple questionnaire. You don't really have to explain this too much. But this will allow us to be able to get a baseline on how you're doing and then record and measure and track your changes as you move through doing the neurofeedback training, as well as implementing some of the other recommendations that we have for you. So now I've completed the questionnaires and now it's time for doing the brain scan. So we're going to want to connect that headset here. So if you haven't already powered it on, you're going to want to do so. Now it's connecting. It's connected here. All right, so the first area of the brain, it's going to measure from the central region of the brain. So as you can see here on the app, it's showing me exactly where I'm going to place the electrode. This is at the very vertex, the very top point of the head. So I'm going to take a little bit of this 1020 paste. This paste holds the electrode in place. So I'm going to take a little scoop here with the electrode. You don't need a ton. You just want a little bit, and then you can form it kind of into a little mound here. and then you're going to want to part your hair where you're going to be placing the electrode. So for this top area, I'm going to part my hair kind of with my fingers, and then I'm going to place the electrode at that location, and I'm going to push down. So now the electrode is connected here. I'm going to click start. I already connected the electrode. I wore the headband. I applied the paste. Now it's telling me exactly where I should be placing the electrode to part the hair, firmly place against your scalp, and avoid hair. So that's a key in getting a really good signal. You're gonna wanna avoid the electrode sitting on a patch of your hair. In order to pick up the brain activity that emanates from your brain up to your scalp, the electrode needs to actually be making connection with your scalp. So really make sure that you actually feel that electrode on your skin and it's not just sitting on a patch of hair. We'll see how I did. All right, so it's gonna do this.
Relax your face and minimize blinking. Now stay still.
So it did just like a little baseline recording. Now it's gonna start sensing. So it's asking me here to keep my eyes open. So this is basically just to get a baseline measurement of my brain activity. You want to avoid what I'm doing right now, which is talking, when you actually do this at home. So it should just be another 15-20 seconds or so here. All right, so now it's asking me to do the same recording but with my eyes closed. All right. So it's going to again ask me to open my eyes. So it's going to measure how I change from an eyes closed to an eyes open state here. So just really you want to focus here on relaxing any muscle tension you might be holding on to in your forehead or jaw area. Try to avoid blinking excessively and just keep as still as you can throughout this process. All right, so now it's going to ask me to perform a task where I'm actually going to count backwards in my head from 761 in jumps of 7. So this is just a random task to basically measure how my brain functions while it's actually being activated and performing some mental calculations. All right, so it's actually pretty challenging to count backwards from, I think, 757 by 7s, but do your best, and then you're going to click your eyes are open, so it's going to measure another baseline scan with your eyes open here. Okay, so that completed the recording for that central location. So it's going to have me now position the electrode at multiple different other areas of the brain. So we're going to get the back part of the brain, the left side, the right side, the frontal lobes, and then it's going to have me perform that cognitive performance task. So I'm not going to show you guys the whole process. You're going to just move the electrode around to different areas of your head. The app is going to tell you exactly where you're going to position the electrode. But each location, remember, you're just going to want to part your hair, make sure the electrode is making some contact with your scalp. You're going to want to push the electrode down, and then you're going to continue following all of the steps that are on the app. So I will see you when you finish doing the brain scan process and you're ready for the cognitive performance test. All right, so welcome back. You should have at this point completed the brain scan. Now, the last part of this initial assessment is just performing a cognitive performance test. So I'm going to click start on the screen here. It's going to take 10 minutes. So it's saying the purpose of this assessment is to measure my brain performance at a particular point in time. I'm going to click I'm ready. So my goal here, or my job, is to only tap the screen as fast as I can when the purple arrow is pointing upwards. I'm not going to touch the screen at all when the purple arrow is pointing to the left or right or downwards, only when it's pointing up, and then I'm going to tap as fast as I can. So I'm going to do this practice round here. Nope, shouldn't have clicked that. Keep clicking. Oh, shouldn't have clicked that. So only when the purple arrow is pointing upwards am I going to press. All right, so now I'm going to start the full 8-minute task. You're going to click Start Task. It's going to give you a countdown. So only going to click the arrow when it's pointing upwards. I'm not going to show you guys the full task here, but it's going to get to a point where there's going to be some distractions. So you're going to want to have the volume on your phone up. It's going to play some different noises, some sounds to try to distract you, and you'll also see different objects moving on the screen. So it's able to measure how well you're able to click when you need to click, as well as inhibit impulses when you don't want to be clicking the arrow. So once you've done this 8-minute task, I will see you back here. All right, so you've now completed your initial cognitive performance test. You filled out the questionnaires, the different assessments, and you've also acquired your brain scan. So at this point, you should have set up a call with me to review your progress and also talk about some personalized recommendations where we're going to go through your nutrition, supplements, nootropics, all tailored based on your unique brainwaves and what you're really hoping to be able to achieve as you're going through the program. Now it's going to be time to actually start doing the neurofeedback training. So whereas the brain scan is simply measuring and analyzing your brainwaves, the neurofeedback is able to actually reward your brain and teach your brain how to produce healthier brainwave activity. So it does this by giving you feedback, positive feedback, when your brain is in the desired healthy zone, and then it removes that feedback when your brain deviates from that healthy activity. So you're going to see on the screen here in a moment that I'm going to be playing a video game, and when my character speeds up and the audio gets louder, that means that my brain is in the desired state. For instance, say I'm training my ability to get into a really focused, zoned in state. Then whenever that happens, the character on the screen is going to speed up and the audio is going to get louder. Then when I deviate from that state, I start mind wandering, dozing off, the screen is going to become dark and the audio is going to get quiet. So the first step with this is you're going to place, if you haven't already placed the headset, you are going to put it back on your head. and you are going to place the electrode at a specific location that's going to be unique to you and your protocol. So here it's showing me that with my protocol here, we're going to do some attention training at the left frontal lobe. So I'm going to take the electrode off of where it is here. Now I'm going to be placing it right about there. So it's going to guide you on the screen wherever you're going to be placing the electrode. It's going to be unique to you, so don't just copy what I'm doing. If there's specific areas of your brain that we've gone over with your brain scan that are either overactive or underactive, then we're going to be able to create a personalized plan that can either calm or excite different areas of your brain. So this is a specific protocol. This is just an example. But in this case, we're training my left frontal lobe. So if we go on our phone here, so I've placed the electrode there. You want to make sure that you're in a quiet place with no distractions. So no kids, no dogs. Make sure that you're going to be in a place where it's just going to be you, where you can focus. So I'd recommend putting your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb, just so you can give your complete undivided attention to doing the neurofeedback training. So again, you're going to connect your Muse headset in the exact same way that you would when you started with the brain scan. So remember that power button is just on the inside right corner of the device. So now it's going to connect. All right, so it's connected here. So it's going to tell me exactly where to place the electrode. Again, we're training my left frontal lobe. So that's where I've placed the electrode here. Again, remember, you're going to want to part your hair, make sure the electrode's making contact with your scalp.
Keep the headband snug, relax your face, and minimize blinking. Now stay still.
All right, so it's going to do a bit of calibration. So this is to ensure that it sets the challenge level at a good level based on my own brain. So for instance, when you work out, you want to have weights that are heavy enough that it's pushing your muscles to grow and strengthen, but you don't want to go so heavy that you're just completely frustrated. For instance, if I pick up a 100-pound dumbbell, I don't know about you, but for me, that's just going to be way too heavy. I'm not going to be able to lift it. But at the same time, or on the other hand, if I'm picking up a 5-pound dumbbell, that's not going to give my muscles enough of a stimulus in order to grow stronger. So in the same way, with the neurofeedback training, it's going to calibrate and make sure that it's at a perfect challenge level where it's pushing your brain. It's going to be challenging, but not so difficult that it's just overwhelming. So it's going to start this initial calibration. It's measuring 3 different brain waves here in my case, doing this protocol. It's measuring high beta, as well as low beta, as well as theta. So these are all brain waves that we'll go over when we go over your brain scan. We'll talk through exactly what they are, what their functions are. All right, so now once I've completed this baseline recording, I get to select any sort of game that I want to on the screen here. So I'm going to click this runner game. So in this game, I am controlling an alien. That's my character. When my brain is in the desired state, the healthy zone, the alien's going to run faster and the sound of the footsteps is going to increase. Now when I get out of that healthy state, the audio is going to go down and the alien is going to slow down. So I'm going to start it here. So with neurofeedback, there's nothing you need to really consciously try to do. Just have a soft, relaxed focus on the screen, and your brain is going to figure out what it needs to do in order to get that reward. So you're going to see that the character keeps going back and forth, back and forth. It's going to be running faster, like right now, and then it's going to go back. So this is detecting your brain activity within 100 milliseconds, so quicker than our conscious mind can even process information. It's going to tell the brain exactly when it's doing well versus when it needs to self-adjust and correct itself. We can also see in the top right corner that's showing a battery symbol. Basically, the higher that is, the better I'm doing here. Now, as I was saying, it's going to calibrate the challenge level based on how you're doing. So if you're struggling, like I am now because I'm talking and not focused, but when you're struggling, it's going to make the game easier. And when you're doing really well, it's going to actually make the game more difficult. So it's going to calibrate exactly to make sure that it's pushing your brain to improve. And that's going to take place each and every session. All right, so we won't go through a whole session here, but that's what neurofeedback training looks like. And if you instead prefer to do a different game, you can choose to do so after each round. If you're doing an eyes open protocol, you can do any of these different games. If you're doing an eyes closed protocol, we'll have you put on some music like Spotify, and then you're just getting auditory feedback. But assuming you're doing eyes open, which is the case most of the time, you'll be either able to play one of these video games or you can also stream.